Hi guys, I'm Caitlin Mertzlufft. I'm a first-year geography PhD student. In a slight change of tone, I don't have a project. I'm following a couple of likely leads, and hopefully next year I will have something a little bit more concrete to share with you. So instead, I'm going to go over my broader research interests, the direction that I'm hoping to go into, and sort of tie those into our integrative core. So I come to this with a background in both geography and in public health. And in my public health experience as an epidemiologist, I have come to this with an interest in infectious disease. And these are diseases which are transmittable from one organism to another through a variety of methods, as opposed to chronic diseases like, cancer, heart disease that are within an individual and aren't transmissible. So there's plenty of research to be done just with infectious disease alone within the public health sphere. But I think that looking at these with the methods and methodology and sort of through the lens of geography, we can ask deeper, to me, more interesting questions, such as we have right here on a global scale the spatial transmission and the temporal transmission of H1N1, the swine flu pandemic from 2009 to, I think, 2010-11. And even going deeper, we can look at spatial and temporal on a bunch of different spatial scales. But going deeper and beyond just the biological predisposition for particular diseases and particular infections, looking at the community components or the personal factors that go into why one individual or one group in a community may be more likely to become ill than another group, beyond just their genetic predisposition. So within the larger sphere of infectious disease, I'm particularly interested in zoonotic disease, and these are infections which are transmissible from humans to at least one other species or more, and vice versa. These include things like H1N1 again, SARS, Ebola virus, HIV, things that we've seen all over the media recently, generally because a lot of them, frankly, are kind of terrifying. Many of them are also fairly benign, but it's good things to keep in mind. So of the diseases that are currently attributable to humans, over half are also known to infect at least one other species. But one of the more important things to keep in mind is over the last 30 years, as we're seeing emerging infectious diseases, as initially we figured with our antibiotics, infectious disease it's gone, we're fine. But now we know, of course, that's not the case. So we're seeing an increase in emerging infectious disease. 75% of these are zoonotic disease. And we expect this to continue. As the human population continues to grow, as our cities expand, we are more and more encroaching into relatively less, more pristine nature, And also, diseases that we already know of are mutating. So we're expecting these to continue. Even in the last couple of weeks within China, there's been a new strain of avian influenza, bird flu, that's now infecting people. People are watching very closely to see if there is human-to-human transmission or sustained human-to-human transmission, which could potentially be bad. So the three things to keep in mind, really. This is timely. It's going to continue to be timely. And since we are so connected, something that starts in one part of the world is not necessarily going to stay there. We're not siloed and safe anymore. And the main thing to take from this, if you remember nothing else, is that we have to look beyond ourselves. We have to look beyond our own species to realize that we need to pay attention to the environment and to the wildlife and to our livestock as well. So this is a quote from Rudolf Virchow. I may be butchering his last name. He's a late 19th century pathologist. He's the father of comparative medicine. And this is a quote that was fairly common of the mindset of the time, which was that there is obviously no dividing line between human and animal medicine. And it's true that a lot of their underlying, the education for both is the same. But we know now that many disciplines have become very siloed. So I'm certainly not alone in this. There are many people looking into this. But I'm interested in exploring the connection between human health, animal health, and environmental health because it is invariably linked. And so specifically, I'm interested in looking at anthropogenic land change and how this is affecting zoonotic disease transmission, both from humans to animals and from animals to humans. And I'm also interested in looking into human perception and what is known about zoonotic disease, how people feel about it, how this may affect landscape change, and how we can tie this in potentially to conservation. So stay tuned. Hopefully next year I'll have something in line along these lines, but until then, thank you.